A few months ago, something strange happened to me. As a woman, I sometimes find myself making late-night trips to Walmart. I can't recall the exact time, but it was late enough that the store was eerily quiet. I only needed to pick up a few items, so my visit shouldn't have taken long. Inside, there were barely any people, just a few employees and the occasional shopper. As I wandered through the aisles, I noticed a man who seemed out of place. He wasn't shopping, just aimlessly moving about, occasionally glancing my way. I tried to ignore it, but a creeping sense of unease began to settle in. I picked up my pace, hoping to quickly grab what I needed and leave. As I turned into another aisle, I felt a sudden, sharp pang of fear when I realized the man had followed me. He was keeping a consistent distance, but always in sight. My heart raced as I reached for my phone, pretending to text someone, hoping it would deter him. But he didn't stop, he just kept staring with an unsettling intensity. I quickly made my way to the self-checkout, scanning my items as fast as possible, my hands trembling slightly. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the man lingering near the exit, watching me. Panic surged through me, but I forced myself to stay calm. I finished paying and briskly walked towards the exit, my eyes darting around, searching for any sign of help. As I stepped outside, I spotted a security guard. Without hesitation, I approached him and explained the situation. The guard, sensing my distress, accompanied me to my car, keeping an eye on the man who had followed me. The man seemed to realize he'd been noticed and quickly disappeared into the parking lot shadows. I got into my car, locked the doors, and took a moment to breathe deeply. The encounter left me shaken, but I was grateful for the guard's help. Since then, I've been more cautious about late-night trips to the store, always aware of my surroundings. This happened about 5 years ago, and it was the craziest experience I've ever had at Walmart. I shopped there often since it was the cheapest place for groceries and other things. Though I wasn't a huge fan of the store, it was always busy, and I saw a lot of strange things. One day after work, I arrived at Walmart around 5:30 p.m. The parking lot was packed, and cars were everywhere. As I drove along the backside of a lot, a car pulled out of a parking aisle and nearly hit me. I had to slam on my brakes to avoid a collision. After that, I parked and started to walk into the store. Just as I was about to cross the crosswalk in front of the doors, a car sped past, coming within about 5 feet of hitting me. I was already feeling aggravated at this point. Inside, I got a shopping basket and headed to the grocery section for about 10 items. The store was packed, with long checkout lines and people everywhere. As I walked down a main aisle, someone nearly hit me with their cart. I was getting more frustrated by the minute, but it only got worse from there. At the back wall in the grocery section, while grabbing a gallon of milk, I heard a voice behind me. It was a little girl, around 7 years old, standing next to a full Walmart shopping cart. She asked if I could pay for her family's groceries because they didn't have any money. The cart was nearly full, easily over $100 worth of items, including things that weren't groceries. I told her no, I couldn't help. I was shopping at Walmart to save money myself. She didn't say anything and pushed her cart away. I watched her go to a woman I assumed was her mother near a frozen food display. I needed yogurt, and they were close to it, so I ended up near them again. As I got my yogurt, I overheard the mother telling the girl to ask another man to pay for their groceries. I didn't like the idea of the mother using her daughter like this. I continued shopping and went to another section. About 15 minutes later, near the bakery, the little girl approached me again, asking if I could pay for their groceries. I told her I already said no. I asked if her mother always made her do this, and she said yes, so they could get things for free. Just then, the mother appeared out of nowhere, angrily asking why I was talking to her daughter. I told her the girl had asked me to pay for their stuff. The mother said it was none of my business. I suggested that people might help if they had less in the cart. The mother's response shocked me. She said they got a full cart paid for 2 days prior. This made me think they weren't so needy. I asked why they needed so much again and told her to leave me alone. As I walked away, the woman rammed me with her cart, hitting the back of my legs and lower back. It hurt, but I didn't fall. We yelled at each other, but I decided not to escalate things and walked away. People were staring, and the woman kept cursing at me. I moved to another aisle, but a few minutes later, the woman came at me again with her cart. I managed to stop it with my hands, but she still hit my legs a bit. She started cursing and tried ramming me multiple times. Other shoppers and Walmart employees intervened. The situation escalated until Walmart called the police. The woman claimed I had attacked her, which was false. She got angry with the police and Walmart employees, refusing to leave. Eventually, she was arrested. The witnesses around confirmed my side of the story, and the woman ended up being taken away. When I was in high school, I worked at Walmart to earn some extra money. It was my first job, and since I didn't have my own car, I often relied on my family for rides. One evening, after a particularly long shift, a colleague named Michael offered to give me a ride home. Michael was a bit older than me, but we worked the same shift. He seemed friendly, and I thought it would be convenient. At first I hesitated, but then agreed because I was very tired and didn't want to wait for my parents. As soon as we left the store and got into his car, I immediately felt uneasy. He started asking personal questions, inquiring about my evening plans, and mentioning interesting movies he had at home that he wanted to show me. Instead of driving me home as I had asked, he started heading in the opposite direction. When I asked where we were going, he replied, "Don't worry, I want to show you something." I started to panic and insisted he stop the car. He ignored me and kept driving. When we arrived at his apartment, I refused to get out of the car. He tried to persuade me, saying it would only be for a few minutes. I called my brother, explaining the situation. He came immediately and picked me up. The next day, I reported the incident to the manager. Michael was fired for his inappropriate behavior. This experience taught me to be more cautious about whom I trust, especially in the workplace. A few weeks ago, I found myself at Walmart late in the evening, exhausted after a long day at work. Rushing through the aisles to gather necessary items, I finally headed to my car in the poorly lit parking lot. As I approached my car, I noticed movement inside. My heart pounded as I realized someone was inside my car, rummaging through my things. Instinctively, I let out a shout that startled the person, making them quickly look around. The figure, a man, looked startled but quickly composed himself and dashed towards another car where a driver was waiting. Adrenaline pumping, I watched them quickly flee, leaving my car open and in disarray. Shaken but determined, I immediately dialed 911 to report the attempted theft. While waiting for the police to arrive, I cautiously approached the car. It was then that I noticed one of the rear seats was slightly raised. My heart raced faster as I realized another person was hiding beneath it. Fear gripped me, and I stepped back, ensuring my safety. When the police arrived, they thoroughly searched my car and the surroundings, but the thieves had already vanished into the night. Officers explained that such cases, where thieves work in teams to distract victims while one steals, unfortunately, are not uncommon. This harrowing experience left me deeply shaken. Since then, I always meticulously check my car before getting in, ensuring my safety and peace of mind. Several years ago, during my overnight shifts at Walmart, I encountered an event that still sends shivers down my spine. That evening, like any other typical night shift, I worked diligently organizing goods on the shelves. The hum of the store's refrigerators and occasional beep of cash registers provided background music to my tasks. However, amid the routine, something unusual caught my attention. In one of the aisles stood a woman. She wore a strange mask that covered half of her face. The mask itself was white with intricate red patterns, giving her a surreal and eerie appearance. Despite my initial surprise, I attempted to politely approach her, asking if she needed help. To my surprise, she remained silent, staring motionlessly at me. Alarm churned in my stomach as she abruptly turned and walked away, disappearing among the store's endless aisles. Deciding to try and forget this unsettling encounter, I focused on completing my tasks, rationalizing it might have been a prank or a peculiar fashion choice. However, as the night progressed and the store prepared to close its doors, this unsettling event took an even darker turn. Just as I was about to finish my final rounds, I spotted the same woman standing near the store entrance. Her eyes, visible through the mask, were fixed warily on me. Without warning, she began hurling random items at the glass doors, each impact sending chills down my spine. In shock and fearing for my safety, I immediately alerted the store manager. Together, we called the police, who arrived swiftly to investigate. Despite a thorough search of the area, the mysterious woman vanished without a trace. This incident left an indelible impression on me, making me particularly vigilant during my shifts. Though I haven't encountered her again, the memory of that night serves as a stark reminder of the unpredictability that can lurk in the most mundane places. Friends, subscribe and like this video. It will help the channel grow.